Hey, Nightmare, can I ask you some— What the?
Oh, hey Welder, what's up?
What is that?
What, this? It's a cafe mocha. I just started drinking these and—
No, not that. That!
Oh, yeah, those are elephants.
Okay, why do you have elephants in your room?
I don't know.
You want to talk about them?
Yes, they've been driving me crazy all day.
Later.
Oh, hey. Didn't you want to ask me something earlier?
Oh yeah, that's right. I was wondering if I could have that fruit cup now.
Well, of course you can have the fruit cup.
Ah, sweet!
But first you gotta eat this turnip.
What?
Yes, but before we eat this turnip, we have to pick a character first. Because we can't have one thing without the other, you know? Because, yeah. Anyway, you can tell where I'm going with this. Wave 2 has come up, and I'm already excited to play this. So let's recap a little bit. Last time, in our two-parter for Wave 1, we played the Golden Dash Cup as Isabelle and failed horribly. And in part 2, we went into the Lucky Cat Cup as Iggy and failed horribly. So, with Wave 2 now upon us, this also being a part 2er, I feel like that's going to be a regular thing now. I'm probably just overthinking it. Anyway, we're going to go on to the next characters for this, starting with the first, and you can kind of tell where I'm going with this. You'll know once I actually select him, but we're playing as Waluigi this first time. So let's do this. And here is what we are going to be doing. So this first part of Wave 2, for at least this video or something, we're going to be taking on the Turnip Cup. Because we can't have the Fruit Cup until we eat our turnips, as I said earlier. So this time, we're going to be going through New York Minute from Mario Kart Tour, Mario Circuit 3 from the Super Nintendo, Calamari Desert at number 3 from the Nintendo 64, and the only reason why I chose Waluigi in the first place, kind of makes sense when you think about it, coming from the DS, Waluigi Pinball. Okay, so where do we go from here? Only one way to find out. Let's get into the first track. And that first track, making its way from Mario Kart Tour, New York Minute. Honestly, I really, really like the way that this track looks. Also, I would pay to see a Super Mario Broadway musical or something. It's Mario Kart Tour. There's a certain charm to it, but I feel like the tour tracks seem to work much better in this game, and it really does show. Because of the fact that, look at these graphics. They really did their homework. They really listened. I feel like they actually listened the first time to like my first video or whatever, because the graphics look so much better. They look way more detailed than the first wave or whatever. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So what about this course? It's New York. It's New York City. There's not much else I can say about it, but New York City. I love New York City, but I don't know. I haven't been there in a while, so it sucks for me. Anyway, Waluigi's very interesting. I don't know if it's like he's faster in a kart or anything else like that, but I've noticed within the last couple of like takes or something, he's significantly slower on a bike. Is that just me, or is it like everybody else notices that too? I have no idea. I've always noticed that Waluigi, or at least anybody like him— Wow, I was in the middle of something. I was in the middle of my sentence. How dare you cut me off? But you know, I guess it really doesn't matter because we win. And that's actually a really, really good point because of the fact that Waluigi feels much slower, and I don't know if it's because I'm racing again on 150cc or whatever, but, you know, the damage is done. So, where do we go from here? If you recall from my first two-parter of this series, I rated each track and then each cup and then each wave out of 10. A certain number out of 10. So, where does New York Minute stand? Well, first off, graphically, it looks amazing. I can see they really had to, like, pop the textures a little more on the ground. And I think that's due to, like, the lighting engine in this track actually makes a lot of sense because look at the way that the ground looks. I know I'm like making love with the floor, but don't get ahead of me. I'm actually making sense. The overall impression that I get is that this track might not stand up as well as you think on like in multiplayer games or like online modes or something like that. I know it sounds crazy for me to say that, but while some people will see this as their favorites, it's not really for me. I think this course worked better in Mario Kart Tour. I actually had to do like 3 different takes, this one being the third, in order to get this far. At least in this video or whatever. But, you know, the impression, it's good, but at what cost? I prefer this track in its source game, and I feel like it's going to be popular here because of Wave 2 being, well, Wave 2 and all that. But gameplay aside, it looks amazing. The design of this is probably the biggest selling point. Would I play this track again? If it means me not having to restart for the 3rd time in a row in order to get this far, probably not. I know I'm probably going to eat my words a little bit later in this video, but like I said, don't get ahead of me. So, with all of that said, I'm going to rate New York Minute a 5 out of 10. Not a bad start. I just think that because of the AI aggression, and I know I'm sitting in everybody else's boat when I say this, a non-existent boat, mind you, it's the most visually appealing in my book. Not my favorite gameplay-wise, because, like I said, 3 takes, this one being the 3rd, and yeah, there's not really much else to say. So, yeah. That's where this track stands. On to the next one. Next up is Mario Circuit 3 from the Super Nintendo. And I can tell you right now, if my experience from the Wii has taught me anything, this course is boring. Just look at it. They didn't do anything other than, like, update the textures and all that, which I'm fine with. It's just, you know, why? Why did they put this track in here? I have no idea. I don't even know why this track has to exist, but it does. It just does. I don't know. I really don't know what it is about these kinds of courses that just don't make the most sense in a game this modern. Because look at it. Look at the track and tell me that this isn't boring. Flat tracks in this day and age they're okay. It's just it leaves so much to be desired. There's very little substance with tracks like this. Although I'll give the Donut Plains track from the master tracks and all that from this game, I'll give that one a pass. I'll even say the same thing for Mario Circuit from the Game Boy. Well, the Game Boy Advance, sorry. At least that had some variety in it. But look at this. Look at this. I mean, I'm not totally disappointed. It's just they could have done so much more. Luigi, no. Luigi. No. No, no, no. No, you are not getting away from me that easily. Okay, maybe you are. Looks like I've got more cleanup to do. Ugh, boy. But, you know, my point stands. If that hadn't happened, I would have been able to get it. But my opinion stands on this. We're just going to get right onto this. The design, it's okay. The only thing that this track has going for it nowadays is its attention to detail. And I think that's because of the fact that they're just using the textures to their advantage, to the track's advantage. Slap a new coat of paint on it, it looks nice, but it's an old track. It's a flat track. And if Mario Kart Wii taught us anything, this course is very boring. The impression on this track, I get some people are going to be fans of it, but it's not for me. And I'm probably guessing there are a lot of other people out there who think the same as I. So, yeah, I guess. Would I play this again? Shockingly, yes, actually. To be able to master a track like this takes a lot of practice. And a lot of, patience when it comes to AI aggression. I'm looking at you, Luigi. So, out of 10, I would rate this a 4. We're already off to a really bad start. But if we learned anything from New York Minute, at least we have whatever else tracks that we're going to be going up against. Speaking of which, we're on to the third track from the Nintendo 64, Calamari Desert. I really should stop with the whole listing the systems and all that. But, what are you going to do? When you're someone like me, what are you going to do? Anyway, I'm actually curious as to how this track is going to work. Because if we knew anything from the legacy that this track left behind, it's just going to follow the same design. But, okay, that's interesting. And I'm already seeing some design changes here that differ from the originals, as well as the 3DS version. You saw those arrows, right? Please, God. Okay, thanks. I don't want to hit the dirt. I am so out of practice with these bikes, ladies and gentlemen. You can tell right away. But anyway, the arrows that we saw at the beginning there, or whatever, kind of dictates what we're going up against. And what is that? Huh? So when did they start implementing these in this game? That's interesting. Take a design element from Mario Kart Tour. I don't want to know what... Okay, so the train still hurts you. Okay, so stay on all sides except for in the middle of the train tracks. And then it'll be fine, I guess. I don't know. But that was something I had a feeling would happen, that because it worked in Mario Kart Tour, as far as the trick systems or whatever, they didn't want you to get hurt. In this game, the train still hurts. And I'm so glad that didn't happen during the race. Especially after crossing that finish line. But after that, I feel satisfied. That's actually a very interesting take on this track. Calamari Desert is kind of one of my favorites, and I'm guessing is everybody else's favorite, aside from every other Mario Kart 64 track and all that. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. So, what's going on here? Well, the design actually is very interesting. First of all, look at the way that the textures look. Better graphically, and it with the bike, there's a little bit of a challenge. There's a little bit of a learning curve, especially with the type of bike that I'm driving. There's a massive change with the design of this track, however. That ramp right there that you saw, that red ramp was implemented in Mario Kart Tour, and while it was a very big surprise for me, I feel like it works in a game like this. A little unnecessary, mind you, but in a game like this, it feels as natural as playing this on its original home console or whatever. Even on the 3DS, it feels okay. The impression that I'm going to get from this online, that everybody else is going to get from this online, this is going to be a fan favorite because of that design choice. Being able to drive on the train tracks has always been a dream of mine and every other player who's ever thought, I wonder if it's possible to actually finish this track or even drive around on the train tracks itself during an actual race. And I can definitely see what they went for here. Would I race on this track again? Definitely. If it means that I have to avoid the train in order to play this game, or at least this track or whatever, definitely. So, with that said, Calamari Desert gets a 9.5 out of 10. It's rated slightly lower than a 10, and there's a reason for it. It's Calamari Desert. They just kind of copied and pasted it. But, you know, copy and paste aside, the design choices for the gameplay sets it apart from the other two tracks of this video. From this cup in particular. I mean, it has to be said, they made this track 10 times better. And it's implementing the use of that railroad section. And I couldn't have agreed with Nintendo more on that design choice. I love it, and I hope that future tracks or future Mario Kart games implement the arrow system more. Telling people where to go, like in, I don't know, Gran Turismo, Need for Speed. I feel like I'm repeating myself from, like, the last video or something. But, needless to say, this has now become my new favorite in the series. But we're not even done with this track. We've still got one more track left for this cup. So, yeah, let's go right in and see what we've got for the final track of the Turnip Cup. That being the reason why I chose Waluigi in the first place, Waluigi Pinball. It looks really nice. I kind of like the way that the neon pops now, but that remains yet to be seen gameplay-wise. How does it play? Wait, is that carpeting? Did they put carpeting in there? At the this is carpeting. Hold up. That's carpeting. When did they put a carpet Huh? I didn't know the floors were made of carpeting. That's an interesting choice for a texture for this track. I mean, granted, it may actually look more like, I don't know, carbon fiber or something like that. But it looks like carpet. It looks like carpeting. Tell me that the main road does not look like a carpet. Man, I'm really getting ahead of myself here. But they made a really interesting choice, and I'm probably going to talk about it at the end of this track. But it's Waluigi Pinball. How can you not be upset with this? How do you not get... Oh, that's why. I'm going to let Baby Peach take it. Thank you. Thank you for not hitting me. But yeah, I've never really seen something like this where the carpet, and I know I'm going to go more in depth with it much later or whatever, but that's a very interesting design choice on my case. On my part or whatever, I guess. I don't know where I'm actually going with this, but all I know is that I am not looking forward to staying more towards the center like I usually do. Like everybody usually does. Look how far back the CPU characters are. That's the reason why. I mean, other than this one pinball section, the cannon section, sorry. Yeah, it's just Waluigi Pinball, if not way more detailed. I'm really getting ahead of myself here. I feel like my brain just can't take too much of this. Honestly, I'm very impressed. And it's very hard to impress me with Waluigi Pinball of all things. There is an actual reason why I say that it's very hard to impress me with Waluigi Pinball. It's because, I can't believe I'm letting this elephant in the room. I never really cared for Waluigi Pinball. No, please, don't get ahead of me. before you say anything, let me explain. The DS version of this track was where I really cared about it. But over time, that care really started to turn, especially since, well, you know, I prefer Shroom Ridge over this track because obviously it's my favorite track of all time in the Mario Kart series and probably my favorite track in general of all time from Mario Kart DS. This is probably, I would say, a top 5 or something like that. In that game, at least. But I've got a lot to say now that that elephant is out of the room. So, the design choices. Holy shit! I was not expecting the way that the ground. What were they thinking with it? Look very closely at the track and tell me that the ground does not look like carpeting. It may look like carbon fiber to you, but to me, other than the pinball section here, the rest of the track looks like it's been upholstered with carpeting. And I think that's the coolest design choice I have ever seen. And the best part is, they upped the color on the neon to really pop the designs and the textures for this track. Which leads me to the impression online. Everybody's gonna want to play this at some point. It's gonna appear as a I have a prediction. I know that prediction is going to be proven false. For the first couple of months or something, this track is going to be a very rare one, but over time it's going to be the most common in lobbies, online, all that, with how long this game has left in its lifespan, I guess. But that's not to say that people are going to love this track. And I have a feeling by the time this video goes out, and I know I'm a little bit behind on this, but people are already loving this track. It's a fan favorite, for crying out loud. I can't get too upset about this track because, like I said, while I don't really prefer this track, they did this track justice, and now it's one of my new favorites. So, with that in mind, I'm rating this track a perfect 10 out of 10 because I was not expecting the designs to really stand out. The gameplay was actually more challenging than the DS and the 3DS combined. I feel like there was some actual purpose behind this track. I am surprising even myself by saying this. So, good on you, Nintendo. Really, really smart way to make this fan favorite even more of a fan favorite. I have to applaud you on that. But we're not quite done yet. We've only got about half of this video, or at least half of this review done. So, let's get on to the final thoughts. And with that, we are done with the Turnip Cup. Oh boy. I've got a lot to say about this particular cup. And I have a feeling there's going to be more said about the next cup or whatever in this wave or whatever in part 2 of this video. But let's get on with the Turnip Cup first. Let's address the elephant in the room even more. So, what did we learn? New York Minute was the first track. It got a 5 out of 10. Following after that was Mario Circuit 3. Sorry. My brain. Stop. That received a 4 out of 10. Calamari Desert surprised me. That earned an easy 9.5 out of 10. But it was Waluigi Pinball that really sealed the deal for me with this cup, earning a perfect 10 out of 10 for its design elements and its overall gameplay for this version of Mario Kart. I can't believe I'm saying this, but with all of those scores in mind, and I have a feeling people are gonna fight me about this, I'm rating this an 8 out of 10. Now, say what you want about, like, you know, the first 2 tracks in this. It may not be your favorite thing. Like the turnips, like your vegetables, nobody's gonna want to eat them. But without eating them, you won't get to the good stuff. And those have to be the second half of this cup. So, eat the bitter turnips first, and then you'll get the sweet treat at the end. And I think that pretty much wraps up the first half of Wave 2 in general. This half of the review, well, you know, it went by so quickly that I'm probably bound to forget something. But, you know, it's I want to let you guys decide. Join back next time. Don't go anywhere. We've got a second half to go through and another cup to go through. So, see you guys in the next half.